Hello friends, welcome back to our little coffee club. Today, finally, the day has arrived where I'm ready to test or compare the niche Duo versus the niche Zero in regards to filtered coffee. If you guys have seen some of my other videos when I've compared grinders, I've never been able to taste a clear difference between grinders. To me, they always taste very similar or exactly the same. Again, you're getting the opinion of an average consumer. I'm not an expert. I don't have probably the most developed taste buds in the world. But if you have watched some of the previous videos, you can kind of tell that at least my taste buds are developed to an acceptable point when it comes to coffee, to be able to taste the difference in coffees, to guess at the tasting notes and things like that. I can do pretty well. So I'm also not like an absolute beginner. I am a coffee hobbyist, maybe just like you here watching the video. So if you're ready to hang out with me for an hour or so, or at least usually that's what my videos, that's how long my videos are. Let's go to the other counter. I'm gonna try to make 2 pour overs. So I'm gonna have to brew 4 times in total because I'll do 2 pour overs with one coffee, 2 pour overs with another coffee. I will use the same brewer, the same filter paper, the same water, the same temperature. The only difference here is going to be the actual grinder. So hopefully there'll be a clear difference between the 2 grinders. That's what I'm hoping to see, but based on my previous experience, probably not. Probably to me it's gonna taste pretty much the same. If you might ask, why did I buy the grinder if I didn't think I was gonna be able to taste the difference? Well, I am a hobbyist, like I said, so if you are a coffee hobbyist, you kind of wanna have at least 2 grinders, a conical grinder and a flat burr grinder, and that's what I have on my counter. I have the 2 niche grinders, one of them being the niche Zero conical grinder, the other one, the niche Duo, which is a flat burr grinder. So if you're watching this video, you probably know all of that already. So let's just go ahead, let's go to the other counter and let's start brewing some coffee. I'm gonna keep it like I normally do in this type of scenarios where I put it in the hot water on the stove there so that the temperature of the 2 cups can kind of equalize. And when I taste the coffees, I'll give you my first impression. I'll taste it as soon as I finish brewing it. But then I'm gonna let the temperatures equalize. So in the hopes that the 2 cups will be as close as I can make them, so that the comparison is as fair as possible. And then we're really just comparing, the two burst sets. Can I taste the difference between the 2 burst sets? That's the main question we're going to try to answer here today. So I said I was going to use that coffee from Dunkin' that I'm always brewing, the original roast, which I have to say, this particular bag, I think I already mentioned in a previous video that this particular bag that I've been dialing in for a while on the 2 grinders so I could get the same brew time. This particular bag is a little bit roastier and it has a bit less acidity than I'm used to from that coffee. I'm very familiar with it. But from bag to bag, there are some differences. And that's what we have to work with on this particular time. But that doesn't matter. What matters here is to be able to taste a difference. So it's the same coffee. Do we taste a difference or not? Basically the only difference is the 2 different burrs. That's what we're shooting for. We also have a geisha that I received from Good Brothers. I'll try to make a little bit of that as well and see if I can taste a difference in that coffee. So if you are ready to get started brewing here with me, hopefully you guys will make something tasty to go along with me here. And we'll just hang out. We'll hang out and chit chat a little bit more for an hour or so. I can keep you company here. And let's get to the other counter and start brewing. All right, guys, here we go. Let's set things up. First, we're gonna start with the Dunkin' coffee. We're gonna try brewing that one. It's in here in the fellow canister. And we'll grind first on the Duo, so why not? The setting on the Duo, by the way, You know, funny enough, as you guys saw with the espresso burst, I wanted to calibrate it because I was beyond zero. I was like past zero, and there's no more markings after zero, so you don't really know where you're set at. But in order to grind fine enough, I was setting like past zero. But with the Brew Burrs, I'm right in the middle of the range. I ended up dialing in this coffee right in the middle of the range at 35. So the range is from 0 to 70, and I'm right in the middle. At 35, I'm getting the best out of this coffee where, you know, it still gives me the brightness and acidity that I'm looking for, as balanced as possible with the sweetness. You know, I was able to dial it in as best as I could for this particular coffee. And the brew time was roughly 3 minutes and 15 seconds. Okay, so plus or minus 10 seconds, I think that will be close enough. So if we're somewhere between like 305 and 325, something like that, both cups will end up tasting pretty much the same. So this one's at 35. This one is all the way back to the red dot. I've told you guys before, the little switch that kind of activates so that you can run the niche. You know, the little switch that disables it, that little red switch. A lot of times I end up for pour overs having to go all the way back there, which is already past the numbers. The niche 0, the numbers go from 0 to 50. And for espresso, I mean, you know, the range for espresso, I'm usually somewhere between like 12 and like 16. That's all you need. And with that, you're able to fine tune it as much as you like, because both grinders are stepless. So, you know, you can make very minuscule adjustments or big adjustments. It's up to you. And you can dial in your coffee to perfection. Being stepless, you can, you know, do minor little tweaks, and that's all the range you really need. But for pour overs on the 0, I usually have to go somewhere between 40 and 50, and sometimes even beyond 50, all the way to that little red dot. Usually the darker the coffee, the farther I have to go away from the numbers closer to the red dot. In this case, the coffee, like I said, is a little roastier than normal. And, you know, I had to go all the way again to that little red dot. So if you do pour overs with your niche 0, I think you can get great results. I'm super happy with it for pour overs and for espresso. So do you really need a duo? Well, today we're gonna try to find that out, okay? We're gonna see. But I'll tell you right now, I doubt it, okay? But let's see what happens. So I'm gonna do my usual kind of workflow on the Steadfast. I'm not gonna get into all those details today, or this video is gonna become a monstrosity, like super long. But I have plenty of videos where I review this brewer. I love it because of the consistency and the sweetness of the cup. But yeah, it's very consistent. Once you dial things in, you can repeat the thing over and over, get the cup tasting pretty much the same every single time. I'm not gonna explain all the different pouring methods and all the different things that I do, because again, the video would just become too long. So I'll edit this in a way that kind of makes sense, and it kind of goes pretty fast so that we're not waiting forever and brewing so many coffees. So let's grind 20 grams of that Dunkin' coffee in the niche duo and do our first pour over. Okay, here we go. Okay, I'm on 19.9. If I put one more bean, I'll probably go over 20. But yeah, I'm between 20 and 20.1, as you guys could see there. As a matter of fact, I'm not sure if you guys could see the numbers on the scale, but I think so. I think you might be able to see that. The focus should be locked in. Let me see. Just do it one more time there. Okay, so we are in between 20 and 20.1. These little fellow Atmos canisters are excellent for keeping your coffee fresh. They create a vacuum, and you know, they keep your coffee as fresh as possible. Okay, so we have 20 grams. Let's see if we have any retention on the duo. Like I said, with the Brew Burrs, retention has not been a thing. With the espresso burst, I was getting more retention than on the 0. So sometimes as much as like a half a gram. And on the 0, that's like very unusual. That just basically never happens. But with pour overs, it's been kind of flipped around. Like with this one, I get less retention than on the zero. So we'll see today, we'll see what happens. Another thing is that definitely the Duo is more messy. It just keeps making more of a mess. You know, as a matter of fact, let's try something today. I'm gonna do all kinds of experiments. This is the little extension spout that Carrie sent me for the niche zero, and it fits perfectly on the niche zero, and it extends the spout a little bit so that it's inside the cup. And then you know how you usually get a lot of like grinds, little dust from your coffee landing on the back of the spout. This will prevent that from happening. As far as I know, they still don't make one for the Duo. I gotta check, but last time I checked, they did not have one for the Duo. And this one, you can put it on there, but it doesn't fit. It's not a nice fit. I showed before on a previous video where there's like a gap up here. It just doesn't look right. But let's see if it works. Let's see if it helps. Again, the laws of physics sometimes don't work in my kitchen and weird things happen, but hopefully, let's see what happens. Okay, so yeah, there's still a little bit of dust, but definitely less than what I've been previously having. So it does help. It helps a whole bunch. If I would have done some RDT, which I refuse to do still, you know, maybe I wouldn't gotten any kind of dust flying out. But and another thing I told you guys already previously on as to the Duo is that you do get some little flakes around here. It just doesn't happen in the Zero. But here, you know, it's a little bit more messy. It is faster, for sure. Okay, so the first thing I like to do, and again, we're at setting 35 with the Brew Burrs. Okay, first thing I'm gonna do is fluff up the grinds a little bit in the cup here. Okay, I'm going to rinse the filter. Let me make sure my focus is locked. Let's give the filter a rinse. Okay, main thing is I want to heat up the carafe and the brewer. And I want the filter to stick to the brewer. It's the main objective. Okay, that looks perfect in there. Okay, this hot water I'll just put, I mean, the cups on the stove already have a little bit of water in them, but I'll just add this as well. Give this a rinse. Okay, so now we heat up everything and I gave it a rinse. We're gonna check our 20 grams. I think I forgot to check the retention, but we'll do it now. Okay, so we're at 0. When I put this in, it should be 20 grams. No, we got a little bit extra. We were between 20 and 20.1. Now we are in between 20.4 and 20.5. So, you know, we got a little bit extra out. But all I've been grinding lately is this coffee, so it shouldn't make any difference. And I say that actually, obviously because we had a little bit of exchange here, but again, the flavor is not gonna get affected because it was the same coffee. Okay, so we flatten it out. But the main thing here, oh, by the way, water's at 94. I'm not sure if I had said that. Water's at 94. The main thing here is that we get somewhere roughly around 3 minutes and 15 seconds, and it should be dialed in on both grinders, so we should be able to accomplish something like that. Okay, so let's start the time. Okay, and we can start pouring. So on the Steadfast, my first pour is 50 gram circle, 50 gram center, But the main thing I'm concerned with is making sure all the coffee gets saturated. That's how I do my first 100 grams. After that, I do 50-gram pours. This first pour usually takes somewhere between 30 and 45 seconds. Okay, here we go. So now we do a 50-gram circle. Okay, I went over. I was thinking about something else there. Okay, we'll be okay. At 1 minute, we do 50-gram center. So now we'll go to 200. Okay. I'm gonna do some agitation because it is brewing kind of fast. Usually I do agitation a couple of times. Just 2 quick swirls. Okay, at 1.5 minutes, we're gonna do another 50 circle. Just short of that, that's fine. Okay, it is brewing a bit fast. Give it another little swirl. Again, we're looking for the 3 minutes and 15 seconds. At 2 minutes, so it's pretty much every 30 seconds, you do another 50 center. Take it to 300 grams. There we are. We finished with 300.9. One last swirl to flatten the bed out. Again, you do more or less agitation depending on the coffee, depending on how things are going. Let's see what we finish. Okay, we're almost done. It just hit 3 minutes. Still dripping a little bit. Okay, we're calling it here, guys. 3 minutes, 10 seconds. So close enough, right? 3 minutes, 10 seconds. That's our first brew. I'm gonna give it a quick first impressions taste, and then we'll brew the second cup. All right, now I don't usually drink my coffee on one of these mugs, but the reason why I'm gonna use it for this kind of comparisons is because I need 4 that are exactly the same. And this is the only one that I have a set of 4. Well, I do have but those are double wall, and I can't use double wall. They won't retain the heat. Not retain the heat, they won't absorb heat like when I keep it in the hot water. Okay, so that's my 300 grams there. Give it a quick taste. Yeah, it's what I've been getting from this particular bag of the Dunkin'. You do have a little bit of upfront acidity, some nice sweetness, but it is a little bit roastier than normal. Yeah, tasty coffee. I mean, it's perfect brew. Obviously, it's not gonna give you as much acidity, brightness. It's not gonna be as nice as this one, but you know, it is a coffee that you can find anywhere. If you guys want to do this kind of comparison, it's perfectly well suited for playing around with. So, all right, so let's put this one off to the side and brew now from the niche 0, and then we'll do the taste comparison. Okay, so we're ready to start working on our second cup of coffee. I have forgotten my accent light behind the espresso machine. I forgot on the first clip, but we got it going now. Okay, so another 20 grams. Okay, so we are right at 20 grams right there. Okay, so let's grind with the niche 0 and see, we'll check retention, all that good stuff, and see if we can get around roughly the same 3 minutes and 15 seconds. So I always start it one more time and I tap the spout and then we check our 20 grams. Okay, we got a little bit extra. And let me show you guys. So what I mean, I've showed this before on the videos, but you see the red dot? So we are all the way back there as far as our grind setting. Okay, usually I'm somewhere like at least at 40 and from 40 to 50, but sometimes I have to even go beyond that. And again, that's where we are at today. You saw retention was not a thing. Okay, lock in the focus and we continue. Same process, fluff it up. Fold the filter. Okay, we rinse the filter and heat up things. Yeah, I always try to adjust the filter, kind of make it stick to the walls of the brewer so that the brewer can perform its function as best as possible. Okay, take this water, put it in the cups. Okay, zero out the scale. Okay, we come in with our 20 grams. Yeah, so now it's reading roughly the same. Okay, so we're ready to go with our second brew. So again, the first pour, 50 circle to go right into 50 center. So 100 gram pour. And usually that'll take about 30 to 45 seconds. But right around that time, you wanna start doing your second pour, because then after that, we're pouring every 30 seconds. Okay, we do circle, center, until we have our 300 grams. Okay, here we go. Okay, just want to get everything saturated. Went over again. Again, I'm thinking about making sure all the coffee is saturated and not paying close attention to my pouring. Okay, so again, 30 to 45 seconds and we're gonna pour again. Now 50 circle. Go to 150. Yeah, I'll give it a little swirl right here. Now 1 minute, I'm gonna go ahead and pour 50 more center. Okay, here we go. Go to 200. And this brewer is just very consistent. When you get this thing dialed in, you do roughly the same pouring structure, and it'll stay consistent. Yeah, 130, 50 circle. Okay. Agitation, again, you kind of play that by ear, kind of see how things are going and do either more or less agitation depending. But I always give it at least couple swirls, one towards the beginning of the brew and one on after my last pour. So 2 minutes, we're gonna do our last pour, center, 50 center, take it to 300. Okay, this one you wanna be more careful with so that it and it's roughly right at 300. Okay, 300.2, and one last little swirl to flatten things out. And now see if we finish. The other one was 310. I would like for this to be no more than like maybe 15, 20 seconds off of that. Now, agitation will affect coffee that you ground on the zero more than on the dual, just because the zero creates more fines and it's gonna tend to clog up the filter a bit more, so it will slow things down more. So you gotta be, you gotta be a little bit more gentle with your agitation when it comes to the zero, unless you want things to get really slowed down a lot. Okay, so the last one we finished at 310. This one, let's see. It just started dripping. 325. Okay, we'll call it 3.5 minutes. So 310, 330, close enough. You know, these brews are gonna, as far as timing, water temperature, filters, brewer, everything's roughly the same here. The main difference is the grinder. Will I be able to taste the difference? So let me give you the first impressions here, and then I'm gonna put the coffee into one of those cups and give it I'm gonna wait until about maybe 5 minutes until I start recording at the other counter to kind of let the temperatures equalize, so the temperatures will be roughly the same. Okay. Now on this channel, guys, I do not waste coffee. I don't think it's fair for, this is just it doesn't matter really. To me, it doesn't matter if it's an expensive coffee or not. I just don't feel comfortable throwing away good coffee that some people in the world maybe can't even afford it. They can't enjoy coffee like that or other things, anything. I really just wasting stuff for the sake of wasting doesn't make sense to me. So I will save, I'm not gonna drink all these brews right away, but I will save them for later. I'll make some iced coffee with it. But let's give it a taste. So another good thing about these mugs is that you can put all 300 grams in here and you still have room to spare. Okay, let's give it a first impressions. Okay, from my very first taste, can I taste a difference? No, I think it's roughly the same thing. But we'll see when we go side by side. In a second, we're gonna give it, well, for you guys, it'll be a second. For me, it'll be about 5 minutes or so. Let the temperatures kind of equalize. And then I'll record the clip on the other counter and see if I could taste any difference here whatsoever. All right, so this is gonna be a strange clip. I already picked up everything, as you could see behind me. I'm not sure where I will include this clip into this video. I don't want to wait till the end to include it, or I don't know how I'm gonna do this because I don't want you guys to miss this part. I'm grabbing this clip on the GoPro because it's just the easiest way. So it doesn't look quite as good, but it should sound okay, and it should be fine. I mean, for what we do on this channel, guys, come on, let's face it, it's gonna be fine. But here's what happened. I've been putting away everything and cleaning up, and I've been still drinking the coffee and going back and forth. I got some water here to kind of clean my palate in between tastings. And now I can see a small difference. Okay, I don't think it's placebo. I've been doing my best to kind of am I really tasting a difference here? And going back and forth. And I think there is the slightest of differences. I couldn't pick it out when the coffee was hot. Now the coffee is almost at room temperature. It's still warm because the cups were really, really hot. So the coffee's still a little bit warm. And there is the slightest of differences. I'm gonna tell you, let me give it one more taste here. I've been going back and forth for the last few minutes and just thinking about it and trying to find something. And I think I'm onto a little something. Okay, that's the dual. Here's the zero. Okay, you know, now that the coffee has had a chance to cool, way in the background, okay, you do notice, I don't think it's placebo. I think there is really a difference there, but it's small. It's very small. How small? Okay, Hoon sometimes does this kind of test. He says like, okay, if this is a 10, what would you rate this one? Okay, if I had to like, wow, if I was push come to shove, and I'm trying these coffees side by side, because other than that I wouldn't notice, side by side like this, if this was a 10, this would be a 9.7. So not even a 9. I mean, they're really close. They're really close. But somewhere in the background of this cup, there's a tiny, small amount of bitterness. Now, how much of that is the amount of fines in the coffee? And how much of that is the fact that this one brewed for an extra, what was it, like 20 seconds? You know, I don't know. I don't know. But there is a small difference here. And you know, I would rather drink the one from the Duo right now. When they were hot, they were identical to me. Now there's a small difference. I would rather drink this one, but by the narrowest of margins. I do think I should definitely include this clip, because I think this is a valid point, and maybe some people, this difference is greater than mine. Maybe to some people this is a 10 and this is an 8, you know, wow, I cannot imagine. But maybe some people are at that level. I mean, there's a tiny difference, tiny. Okay. But yeah, there's a small, tiny little bit of bitterness here, which could be happening because of the extra fines in this coffee, but it's small. This one, yeah, a little bit juicier, a little bit sweeter, and let's see. Yeah, this one, very similar, you know, same, obviously the same like profile, you know, the coffee tastes roughly the same. If I didn't know you ground this with two different grinders, I would just say, yeah, I think this one brewed for a little bit longer. And that's part of what's going on here. Maybe that's all it is. I don't know. But I think still it's a valid point, and I should include this clip into the video because, you know, in fairness, I said, listen, this is from the point of view of an average consumer, okay? Not an expert. But it is a valid point that this one right now is a little bit tastier, not by much, but I'll include this clip just to let you guys know, again, full transparency, this is everything I'm tasting, and I was able to find this by allowing the coffee to cool to almost room temperature and to sit here and have some water and go back and forth, and at that point, you can detect a small difference, and I'm gonna say it's not placebo, there is a small difference here. But it's very small. So to some people, maybe this is a 10 and this one is a 9.5. To me, it's 9.7. It's almost, you know, I would be fine with either cup. And then to the most extreme cases, maybe this could be a 10 and this could be an 8. But I can't even imagine, but I don't know. I hope some of you guys do this experiment. Let me know. Can you taste the difference in grinders? You know, for me, at this point, you know, is that really like a, I just say that I can't taste a difference, because at this point, if I did this blind tasting and they gave me like 5 brews from each one, I doubt I can identify them all correctly. And if you can't do that, at that point, they're too close to call, okay? So if you could every single time say, yes, this one's better. Yes, this one's better. Yes, this one's better. Every single time, then you could obviously taste a difference, and to you, this one's better. But to me, I would be kind of back and forth and kind of guessing at it. It's not, I hope I get my point across. Anyway, either this is the last clip of the video. If it is, thank you for sticking around here with me until the end. If I included this some other way into the video, which is probably what I'm gonna do, then just keep watching and we'll continue here to what my original opinion was. All right, so I have the 2 coffees in front of me. I have the Niche Duo right here, the Zero right here. will I taste a difference side by side? I'm telling you, so far, if you separate the tasting by a few minutes or perhaps even a few seconds, I don't think you can taste the difference. So going side by side, we'll see. But I gave you my first impressions, and to me, it tasted the same. So let's see. Okay, the coffee was in the hot water for like 10 minutes. I let the temperatures kind of equalize so they are pretty much equal temperature. And let's see, side by side. Okay, so this is the 0. Yeah, this coffee is definitely a bit more roasty this time, but it's still sweet, it's still nice, it still has a little bit of acidity. So, okay, so here's the duo. If I wait that long, it's too long. They taste exactly the same to me. Man, I had a feeling that was gonna happen. So to me, you know, guys, I would love to be able to tell you that I can taste a difference. I would love to be able to tell you, oh wow, no, yeah, oh man, I can definitely taste the separation of flavors. No, they taste exactly the same to me, okay? And I know my taste buds are not broken because you guys have seen me time and time again, like guess at the tasting notes. And I actually get them right. I recognize coffees. I can taste the difference in coffees. You know, I do pretty well in all of that. Gosh, it blows me away how every time I do this kind of test, like nothing happens. Like other people say they can taste a clear difference. I don't know. There's gotta be I don't know. You know, everyone's at a different level, and I know that there are experts that can do incredible things out there, but wow, you know, okay. Let's try again. They're exactly the same. Exactly the same. This time I'm not even gonna say that they're kind of close, or you know, with the espresso bursts, I kind of saw a little bit more of a difference. I think it was placebo. I mean, I'm letting you know right now, I think it was straight up placebo. The difference between the espresso burst and the duo and the niche 0, they give you pretty much the same particle distribution, and you get, you know, you get the same flavor. Okay, let's face it, you get pretty much the same flavor. When it comes to pour overs and the Brew Burrs, they're supposed to taste different. They're supposed to taste different. I can't see the difference. To me, they're exactly the same. Okay, one more time. I mean, it tastes good. This is it's good coffee. They taste exactly the same to me. So this time, with the espresso burst, I thought I could kind of see the smallest of differences, and I'm gonna attribute that to straight up placebo. I don't think there was any difference. And here, not even placebo. I mean, to me, it's exactly the same coffee. I mean, you guys saw, okay, same brewer, same filter, same water temperature, same water, same timing, roughly, same pouring structure. I kept everything pretty much the same, and the results are, to me, identical, okay? You know, Wojtek, you have a niche 0, and you have a fellow ode, which is a nice, you know, 64 millimeter flat bar grinder. Have you done this comparison? Can you really like taste a difference? And if you do, which I don't doubt that you do, but how big is it? I mean, I would love to like taste any difference, and I don't. To me, it's the same, okay? I've done with some of my other grinders, other comparisons where I kind of have felt there was a small difference. At that point, is that even worth no, it's like, worry more about the coffee than the grinder for sure, because in coffees, there's a big difference from one coffee to another, especially because of the roast level, but even like comparing like two medium rows, there are differences. And sometimes the differences are huge. Sometimes they're not huge, but sometimes it could be pretty drastic. In grinders, at best, like I always say, at best, the difference has to be minuscule. I can't taste any difference, but I don't doubt that there's some people that taste a difference. But at that point, how big is the difference? I mean, it's minuscule. I don't think, go for your end game setup. If you aspire to having that $3,000 grinder on your counter, go for it. If it makes you happy, go for it. It's like a piece of art. The build quality, the workflow, all of those things mean a lot. And the way it looks to you, if you find it beautiful. I love my setup. I keep saying it. I love my setup. I don't regret getting the grinder. And I will make pour-overs with the Duo and espresso with the Zero. But can I honestly taste the difference in grinders? No. I'm not gonna sit here and try to make something up. And if I see it, I see it. If I don't see it, I don't see it. In this channel, I give it to you guys straight. I don't sugarcoat it. It is what it is. I can't taste any difference. I'm sorry. I wish I could. At this point, is it worth making another? No. Why we? This is identical. Of course, the coffee will taste different. And I haven't dialed it in like I did with this one to get pretty much the same timing. So we might not even get the same timing. But I'm telling you right now, I'm not going to taste the difference in the grinder. The coffee will taste completely different. That Good Brothers Geisha is a step above this, like maybe more than one step, maybe a few steps above this. So I'll definitely taste a difference between this coffee and that one. But brewing the same way and just grind it in the two different grinders, that Geisha is going to taste the same to me. So that being said, I think I'm going to leave this here because there's nothing else to say, okay? I don't know why I cannot taste a difference in grinders. Maybe give me a few years, okay? I don't plan on disappearing from making coffee videos. I mean, we'll see how long I keep this up. I've been consistent. On Sunday mornings, you get a video from me every Sunday morning at 7 a.m. And I've been consistent now for like well over a year. You get a video every single week. I plan to keep doing that because I'm having a lot of fun with it. I get to meet you guys and talk to you guys below in the comments, and that's what I do it for. I learn from you guys a whole bunch. There's a few of you out there that I will consider like almost like friends, although we've never like really like met. But if you ever visit Miami, give me a shout out, and we'll try to set up a meetup somewhere and have some coffee somewhere. I'll take you to some of the best spots around town. But thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate my little coffee family here on YouTube. Give the video a like. I don't know, am I forgetting anything? I don't think so. There's nothing else to say here. Thank you for watching. Please give the video a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already, and I'll see you guys next Sunday.